Welcome to another S&P 500 analysis. Today is March 18, 2021. This special edition, thought I'd do a quick review of the market since we got a little bit of a pullback, a sell-off, and some of you might wondering what's going on. But if you watch my video from yesterday, and I have the link posted below in the description below. If you watched that video yesterday, this sell-off or pullback today shouldn't be any surprise to you. Right? We sort of expect the market to come down a little bit in the near term because we saw some softness from yesterday, price action. So anyway, let's go and do a quick review of what has happened today. Now we're looking at this 15-minute intraday chart of the S&P 500, and this is the New York Stock Exchange new high, new low. Here is the up-down volume ratio and the VIX, and here is the put-call ratio and also the advanced decline. Now let's go and start looking at this S&P 500. As you can see, remember last week we make that new all-time high or all-time high on Thursday and then close with an all-time closing high on Friday. Remember last Thursday it broke above this level here and then proceed to make a new all-time high. Then on Friday it came back down and back test this. Then it proceeded back up and closed with a new all-time closing high. And so as you can see on this early this week, it came up and put in a new high here on Tuesday. Then kind of chop around the next couple days. And today, although yesterday it, put in a new closing high, it also put in a new high yesterday. So today we saw it gap down and came up, filled the gap, and notice that as soon as it break this level here, and it came back down and now it's testing that breakout level and also the back test level from last Friday. Now, here we are. Let's go and do a little bit of comparison of the internals and also the sentiment back on last Thursday when it pulled back and for the Friday back testing and comparing to what's happening today. Okay, so let me block those off. And you look at the new high, new low, kind of flat once you get up to some sort of plateau. Same here, although it's a little bit lower. So it's okay, it's still 300 plus. And this right here is, 500 or so. But if you look at the up-down volume ratio, you see the volume, up-down volume ratio is positive for last Thursday. Right? And today it was positive throughout the morning, and then in the afternoon it sold off and turned negative, and also it expanded negatively downward. Okay, now then we look at the sentiment on the VIX. We call this the fear index. It's pretty much flat here. That's on last Thursday, but look at here, it was kind of flat for the morning, and now it's kind of accelerated up in the afternoon as we have this sell-off come in. Then if we take a look at the put-call ratio, the put-call ratio was pretty flat also, right? And it was kind of flat this morning. Then look, it came up as the afternoon sell-off increases. So we are seeing a little bit more put buying. Then if you look at the advanced decline was pretty positive. I mean, close to 2,000 here on Thursday, near that 2,000 mark. And you look at here on today, it was primary most of the time sitting, somewhere around this negative 1,000. I mean, there's 1,000 more declining issue than advancing issue. And it just accelerated into more negative, more declining issue as the day progressed. And throughout this, sell off into the close. Okay, so that's the difference. We're seeing a little bit more negative tone on today's pullback than last Thursday. Right, last Thursday it was more concentrated on a selected group of stock. That's why we're getting all these, positive up-down volume ratio and also, more advancing issue than declining issue. Today it was a little bit more broader sell-off because we are seeing more negative or declining issue than advancing issues. Right? And also we notice that there's an expansion on the down volume. So the up-down volume ratio expanded downward. So, and also we have some fear coming up and a little bit more put buying. So that is a little bit of a different tone because now you got a little bit more broader market pullback than what happened last Thursday. All right, so let's go and take a look at the intraday chart here on the individual sentiment and the internals. We were looking at this chart yesterday, and today, you notice yesterday it was kind of negative, this up-down volume on the New York Stock Exchange throughout the morning, and then after the Fed announcement, it turned positive. Now, you notice it's kind of almost like an inverted chart of yesterday, sort of positive throughout the morning, and then in the 2 o'clock afternoon or close to it, right, you see this sell-off came in and took it down negative, right, and then now we got minus 2.6 up-down volume ratio, and also you see there's more down volume. The down volume just kind of expanded on the downside, right? And same thing with the advanced decline. You notice the advanced decline came up and never got up to the positive area. And when it broke down right here, when it pivot up and unable to get back above this level here, we see it just accelerated downward at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Right, once the selling start, and we see more declining issue, declining issue just sort of increasing as we are going toward the close into the afternoon hours. Then also, if you look at the ticks, right, and you see a lot of the ticks, it's kind of, in the morning, it's kind of bounce around here and sort of in a positive here. Then during the lunch hours, started selling off. Right, you got some sell program. Can look at this right here. These couple bar here is essentially went more than negative 1,000. So there's a heavy selling here. And it bounces back up and kind of chop around here. Then after the afternoon rolled in at 2 o'clock, and notice how much of a negative downtick there is, and hardly much of a positive tick here. There are a little bit of up at the 500 level, but look at this predominantly into the negative area, and look at how much of these ticks are down here at the minus 1,000 or lower. So there are a lot of selling pressure here. And also we see that's the S&P 500. The S&P 500, kind of broke down right here at the afternoon, and it's just kind of sell off into the close. Then here looking at the Nasdaq up down volume ratio, finished the day at minus 3.55. Again, you notice that it just increasing more down volume as the sell off took hold in the afternoon. Then same, although the advanced decline, it made a valiant effort to try to get up to the positive area, but once again, once it broke this level down here, then in the afternoon it just accelerated downward, ended up with 2,300 more declining issue than advancing issues. And again, same thing with the tick. Right, during the lunch hour, we saw a little bit of the sell program, and come back in, and at afternoon, then look at all these ticks pretty much underneath this zero area, this level. So it's all mostly negative, right? And also once it booked this initial balance low in the afternoon, and it just went down toward the close. Okay, so you can see that certainly the tone today is opposite of what it was yesterday, and there's a lot of anticipation from the market on the downside today. It's not a isolated group of stock like the large cap tech stock or some of the high price tech stock that is being sold off. Today you basically have a lot of different stocks, including tech, the energies, and even some of the financials. So you see a broad base sort of a pullback today. Now let's go and take a look at the daily chart and then see what sort of price action we could expect for tomorrow, which is quite witching. Okay, here we are looking at the daily S&P 500, the daily chart of the S&P 500. This is the closing high from yesterday. I mean, the new closing, all-time closing high from yesterday. So you can see that it tried to get up here today and unable to come up and tag that high, and the sell-off coming back. Right now, remember we essentially looking for a pullback to somewhere around this trend line here, okay, and near this 3,900. We might see that tomorrow. And if it failed to hold this trend line, remember we also looking for this particular level, essentially this pivot high here for potential support. If it failed the 3,900, then we'll be looking at 3,870 area. Then as this also failed to take hold, then we could be watching for it to pull back to somewhere around the 3784. And of course, the ultimate is probably down at this lower channel trend line. But right now, it's kind of too early for us to talk about that level. Right now, we're just going to be concentrating up here in this area here. Okay, so this is the area that we be focusing on. So these are the level that we'll be keeping an eye on. Now, if tomorrow, for some reason that it decides to rally back up, then essentially we're looking for the all-time closing high, 3973.96, and then possibly up to the new high. And eventually when it bounces back, we are looking at this 4,000 and the possibility to come up to this upper channel trend line near the 4,050 area. And here we are looking at the NASDAQ 100, the daily chart of NASDAQ 100. Remember we were talking about it's having difficulty to come back up to this 13,280. If it is able to get back up above this, then we're basically looking for this gap to get filled, and that will be between this somewhere around that 13,500. But if it unable to get above this zone here, then we were basically looking at this area here for possible test of support. And if this doesn't provide a bounce, then we essentially are looking for a pullback down to 12,439 and the 12,204. So right now, this is the area that we are focusing on. And right now, it's sitting somewhere, sitting near this 12,789 or essentially 790. Okay, so we'll be watching this particular zone here tomorrow. And if it move down, come back into a back test maybe, then we'd be looking for the possibility of moving down to 12,439, unless it could, come back up and push us up. So, so those are a couple of the scenarios that we'll be keeping an eye out on for tomorrow. Now here's the Russell 2000. Russell 2000, we're looking for this trend line. So essentially 2250, that's the potential support that we are watching. And right now, it's like today, it's got a very big negative day. This is a big down candle here. So keep an eye on it to see what it make itself down to this 2250 tomorrow sometime, or will it get a bounce back up. And eventually, we are looking at the possibility of taking out this high at 2360 if it decide to, come back up. But right now, we're basically looking for a pullback to this trend line, see would it get a bounce. And if it doesn't come back into this channel, then we're essentially looking at these lower level. So again, it's a little bit early for us to talk about those levels right now. We're basically concentrating this area here. And look at this Dow Jones Transportation. Dow Jones Transportation actually was putting in a new intraday all-time high, and then it pulled back and closed near the low of the day. We're looking for a pullback, and if it does, then we're basically looking for the possibility of coming back down to this 13,656. Right, so that's what we'll be first looking. Keep an eye out for. Then eventually, maybe it'll work itself back down to this lower channel trend line here. But for now, we're basically focusing on this area here. And if it could make another round and push to this level, this basically the last all-time closing high at 14,242.87. If it could get above that, then we'll be looking for a move up to this 14,500, right? But for now, we're basically looking for a little bit of a pullback to see what it come down to this 13,800 level. And here, looking at the Dow Jones Industrial, we see the same price action as the Dow Jones Transportation. It was at all-time high for the morning session, and then kind of pull back as the day progresses. And right now it closed near the low of the day, right? And also underneath the all-time closing high of 33,012.61. Okay, so right now we're essentially looking for a possibility of pulling back to this trend line here, somewhere around at this 32,500, and see where we get a bounce. And if it come back into this channel, then we're essentially looking for the possibility of pulling back to the 31,668, essentially in confluence with this lower intermediate channel trend line. So that's basically as a quick look at the indexes, and let's go and take a look at the dollar. Here we see the US dollar got a little bit of a upside today, right? It kind of bounces off this zone here. Still looking for this 92 area as a potential resistance, and pushes that back down toward this this lower zone here, somewhere around the 89 so, right, just above 89. And if it could make it up into this 92 zone, above the 92, and I still be watching to see would it be able to get back above the 94, because I could see it get rejected up there and pushes back down. Quite an amount of resistance up here, and also down here as well. So those are the two major resistance levels that I'd be keeping an eye out. So will it be able to get above the 92? And if we get above 92, can it get above 94? If it get rejected at any of those level, then I'll be looking forward to pull back to the next lower level, just right underneath it. So if it come down to this, come up and get rejected at 94, I'd be looking for this thing to pull back to 92. If it get rejected at 92, I'm looking for this thing to come down to this level here, somewhere around 89 and a half area. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. See Bitcoin here came up to this level, got close to the 62,000, and then it pulled back to near the 53,000, and then chopped its way back up. So right now it's sitting this 58,300 or so, and we'll see is this going to pull back down to the 55,000, or would it continue on up and break to the 60,000 once again and make its way back up to the toward the 62,000 area. So that's a little bit quick look at Bitcoin. So I hope you find this video to be informative. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up to give it a like to help me promote and share this video. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.